Joining us now is the National Chairman of Nigerian Legion, retired Major General Abdul Malik Jibril. Thank you so much for joining us, Major General. We appreciate you for coming on Newsnight.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.
Well, today, Nigeria honors the sacrifice of those who served and continue to serve in uniform. I would like to start by asking you what this day particularly, personally means for you and of course, for other uniformed men who continue to serve, men and women who continue to serve in the armed forces. Additionally, what was life like for you when you were in the military? And is it like now outside the military?
Thank you very much, Frank. And good evening, Nigerians. Today is a very significant day for me as a veteran. And it is a day of fulfillment by the federal government that has set aside this particular day, 15 January, as a day of celebration and commemoration of our fallen heroes who have, at different times in our history, contributed and also sometimes even made the supreme sacrifices during the engagement of the Nigerian military, both during the First, Second World War, then under the unfortunate civil war of Nigeria, various United Nations peacekeeping engagement that Nigerian troops are involved, and of course the internal security operation that is still taking place, and the various theaters where our soldiers are. So it's a day set aside to remember and to celebrate, to remember very solemnly those who made this real sacrifice, and of course a day of joy because we remember the day the Civil War was ended. That is after 30 months of unfortunate Civil War. On the 15th of January 1970, that is when the Civil War finished. So the Nigerian government decided to make it a day that we will remember those who have made the true sacrifices and also celebrate those who are living, those who have served and retired, those who are still serving actively. So it's a day. So to me, this day is very significant, and it's a testimony to the commitment of the successive government in Nigeria that this day will continue to be remembered forever. I cannot imagine a day that will come and pass. Any regime that will come and say they don't want to remember the foreign heroes who defended the integrity, the territorial integrity of this country, internal security, and sacrifice that make us to go to sleep and wake up, fine. So,
all right. Veterans, have repeatedly called for better welfare and support post-service. How would you assess the effort of the government in terms of addressing this concerned welfare package? Because we do know that oftentimes we focus on the fallen heroes. But what about the living veterans? What are the challenges that you face, you and your colleague facing, particularly in terms of access to pensions, health care, and reintegration into civilian life?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very pertinent question to all retirees, all veterans. First of all, let me start on the aspect of the good news in the sense that I retired 15 years ago. And since I retired, there's never a month that has come past that I have not gotten my pension. So to that extent, I would say government has been doing very well because every veteran gets his pension as when due. But the question of is it sufficient? Is it adequate to meet off my requirement as a retired, especially when you juxtapose the cost of living and what comes to you as a pensioner? The answer is no. It's not, because when I left 15 years ago, what I was given, I was so happy that I thought it would be okay for me. But today, it can hardly last me for 1 week. So what is the expectation of veterans to the government as regards this particular issue. The gap between the pension that we receive and the cost of living. How do we fill in that gap? That is the question, that is the challenge that I think the government have to look at. Happily, I would say recently, Mr. President has signed a revised version of our terms and conditions of service, which it is normally reviewed after a number of years. And he has signed that revised, which increases and bring additional welfare packages for retirees in terms of medical attention. That is most important because that's one of the major challenges of a retiree, because the National Health Insurance does not cover certain element. But under the current, the recently signed revised terms and conditions of service for officers and soldiers. When I say soldiers, it includes ratings of the Navy, airmen of the Air Force, all. The recent decision has addressed and has enhanced the welfare package for medical treatment that we will be able to afford either locally or internationally by if it is too grievous that you have to travel. There are certain amount made available for people to travel for medical attention. So to that extent, that has been this. But what is more worrisome is the inflationary tendencies that swallows any good gesture made by government in terms of improving the welfare package. By the time it's come to you, it is already eaten by inflation. So that's a serious challenge. But government, for so far, we cannot afford to say that government has not been attentive to the welfare and well-being of the veterans. Especially, as I said, we have always gotten our pension as when due. We have also, in terms of additional adjustment, recently the adjustment as to minimum wage has just been effected and payment was made, even though some of our colleagues have to demonstrate to that, but absolutely it is, the government has never at any time said they are not going to pay what is due to us. It could be that probably because of government bureaucracies, it may take some time, but it has always been approved, and at the end of the day, it's paid to us. So to that extent, I think we thank government, we thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who during his tenure has made the unprecedented donation during the last Armed Forces launching of the emblem on in November, ending where he donated the sum of 500 million. This is absolutely unprecedented. We never had it so good. Now,
all right. Okay. Well, Major General, we have a lot to talk about, but time is not on our side, really. But we really want to, thank you for coming on Newsnight, and we do hope that some of the things you've raised tonight, perhaps additional things you're asking from the government, Absolutely. The government will attend to them going forward. Thank you so much for your time, retired Major General Abdul Malik Jibril, Chairman of Nigerian Legion. Thank you for coming on Newsnight.
I appreciate it. Thank you for